Welcome back to Nerdy Void Nation. Today we're gonna do something we did before, but it's we did this with My Hero, but I thought it'd be fun to do it with the Vox Machina characters. And that is, if they were born in the Naruto world, what chakra natures they will learn or be born with. So with that being said, let's get started. I mean, Keyleth was the most easiest one to do because of her Aramante and the type of character she is, the type of build she had. So yeah, m- she would have our chakra nature to be born with, and then basically going over our Monday. I went with the animated series and not. I think I think in the campaign she lands earth before fire, but in the show she lands fire, earth, water. So that's sort of why I made sure like the next chakra nature she will land is fire, the next will be earth, and then the last one will be water, sort of how it was in the show. I also think she would be able to combine a transformation jutsu with her chakra nature, and that's how she will create her Titan forms, elemental forms, fire elemental form. Like I think that would be really cool. But yeah, she also got multiple elemental spells in the show, so she should be able to use multiple elemental jutsus. The next one was Percy. I think it makes sense for Percy to be born with fire chakra nature, as he also makes guns, and actually creates gunpowder, and so I think for that reason alone, the equivalent would be give him fire chakra nature and have him create like guns and machinery for the Naruto world. I think that would be cool. I also think, especially because he had a deal with Orthodox, and he sort of, when he had that deal, smoke came out of him. I think it will make sense that he will learn fire because he could have like smoke choo-choos, like similar to what Asuma used in Naruto. Also, I think the next one with diplomacy is he will learn lightning jutsu, not only to like make sure things are connected, creating more engineer works, more complex stuff that use power of electricity to use in battle. I think lightning makes the most sense, especially considering with diplomacy using that. Um, Also, if he wants to create other things that like weapons, using lightning instead of fire to power it would be an alternative. I think that's a dope. Like he will learn not only to use fire to power stuff with like his guns and other more explosive, more damaging. He will also use lightning to attack in different ways with things he creates. And then water, I think water makes sense if he's trying to create more chemical stuff to like create something to be more aesthetic or to create something that maybe when he's making a weapon, he needs a tissue to cool the weapon down. So using water, I think sort of that working for him makes the most sense. And also, um, he could maybe use his guns and they overheat because guns are not perfect. And I know when he wrote one in the campaign, it will always misfire. So I think maybe having landing a water chushu is like these guns, if you use too much lightning chushu fires, while it's powerful, it could be it could overheat the guns or overheat the weapon you're using. So you're having a water chushu to cool it down to show he can uh minimize the uh, bad minimize the negative effects of these weapons. I think it would be really cool for him to learn. The next one is Vax. I think Vax will have be born with fire again, and then will learn Earth. I think because I sort of took it off like Shikamaru. Shikamaru has shadow. He basically uses shadows in Naruto. That's a Jushu, and because Vaxodan is a rogue, it makes sense that he should be able to use shadow. I think him being born with fire makes sense, as I also think his nature sort of seems fiery, like he's very hot-headed and very to the point, and then him learning Av would just allow him to creep into the shadows more, especially if he combines via Av. So yeah, that's why I sort of gave him both of that. I did have just for fun, maybe making Vaxodan have sand element, but it would be honest, it wouldn't make any sense for Vaxodan to have sand short chocolate nature. That being said, he after he gets the armor of the Raven Queen, he will basically learn because that will allow him to fly, allow him to um, also throw his dagger and make them return. I think that's very important. I also know that like in the campaign he had like different daggers that did different effect. Like one of them I think was like flaming. I would do burn damage. So that's why I also gave him a fire to be born with. And then with the R, it's just him allowing him to fly, allowing him while flying to attack from the air would be really dope. But also just if he's flying and land, I can go a height into shadows. It would be very good for him to fly up and create shadows in the sky, but also down on the earth as well. That would be dope. But yeah, those are the element Nature that I think Vexrodan will have. Vexalia, she is the only, I think, alpha character I have on this list with four Nature, the fast for scaler. But yeah, she's a rogue and she sort of has her companion trinket. So I just thought as a I don't know why it's a rogue. I meant ranger. She's a ranger. So I think she's very nature heavy just because of her class, especially with a trinket as her partner. I think the first thing she would do is have a be like that way she can learn camouflage jutsus, uh maybe even learning to like steep into the earth height underneath. Um but yeah, that and then also just being there to sort of how do you like combine attacks with trinket? I think that would be really cool. Sort of what Keeper does with Akamaru. Keeper also has a half Chakra nature, so it would might be cool if Vexalia also have that like do combined jutsus with trinket. Uh, that the next one she will learn because of uh what's the vocal Thanfris? I think the bow is called. Have vestige because she can shoot like fire arrows, lightning arrows. I really wanted to have lightning jutsu, fire jutsu, just to power up a arsenal, but also having multiple damage types would is very good. And it's as the leader of Vox Machina, she should be the most adept. And I know some people don't think she's the leader, but like, I think the animated series made it very clear that Sally is the leader. And to be fair, I always felt in the campaign she was the leader of Vox Machina, even though they always said, "Oh, Vox Machina never had a leader." I I I always thought Vexalia was definitely the leader. And then the last one is Chushu. That's just because she basically has a broom. I want to incorporate her broom into her fighting style because that's what she really uses a lot in the campaign. So using the broom and then using her air jutsu to make it float, even after she to make the broom or herself weightless, so she can go in the air, and then basically having a bullet jutsu or any different type of attacks, especially like Archers are more of like invisible attacks. I think that would be very good for like a ranger to have, especially later on. I think she also sort of multi-classes into rogue, so it will make sense for her to like be able to attack in the air without like the enemy seeing the attack with elemental jutsus compared to fire lightning where the enemies are gonna see a fire bolt hitting them or a lightning jutsu attacking them. Next up is Grog. I think he would it makes the most sense that he born born with a Av Joko nature, just because I also think he's very just uh hard-headed and he's very much a brute. So I think he will use a lot of jutsus like rock fixed jutsu or hi- allowing himself to harden his body with like a half jutsu that gives him extra protection. Um, Even just allowing his hits with like rated bolted jutsu or like uh rated jutsu where you can just make yourself more heavier or lighter with his hits makes sense, especially for a barbarian. Also, just and then when he gets the Titan Stone Knuckle, him learning Lightning Jutsu makes the most sense, especially because every time they do the effect, like a little electricity comes out of the gloves. I also think having him not only do with Earth Jutsu, he will do a lot more blunt type damage, while with Lightning Jutsu, he will learn to do more piercing type damage, which I think would really be good. I also think it'd be cool that he could hit multiple people, and if he's like hits them with lightning, they fall onto another person and get hit with the same lightning technique. I think that would be cool. Having him learn like lightning blade or jutsu or like I think it'd be dope if Gog learns something similar to Kiri, or which Sasuke's lightning dragon. Him having a similar thing, maybe just him creating like large fist of lightning and just punching with them with the godlight would be really cool just to create. But yeah, I think Grog will have the most like have a lightning just to do the most heavy damage. Also, help giving him lightning could also help with his speed. He could create a what does the Raigaga have? The lightning armor that he have? I think it's called lightning cloak, Chushu, where he is able to increase his speed. I think giving Gok something like that makes a lot of sense, especially because he's always on the front line taking the damage and always the first person to go into battle. Pike Pike for me will just because of the Aphrodite and stuff. I think it makes the most sense that she has fire. Also, her armor absorbs fire attacks. I think it'd be cool if she absorbs fire attacks and then could power her own fire jutsu attacks. I think it would be cool if she learns a lot of different varieties of fire dragons, fire fist jutsu. I know that's a fireball, like a lot of different types of fire jutsu. Even with her like smite. I mean, I know she doesn't actually have smite, but she has what's the damage? No, she does have a lot of burning damage. She has a lot of uh fire damage in the campaign. I'm pretty sure with like different different magical you magical spells she used. And she also so yeah, it would make sense for her to have fire chakra and then also with her armor absorb fire and reflecting it back makes the most sense. Then I think I will give her water elemental because she's also a healer. I like someone like Sakura Ino who are like healers in the Naruto world. They also have water jutsu. I know technically speaking, that's not the reason they can heal people is because they have yin yang. That's what they are using, but I'm not that familiar with yin yang jutsu types, so that's why I'm using just chakra elementals. But yeah, Highland in water, being able to just filter what the damage is in the body and then heal it out, I think makes the most sense to sort of be the equivalent of her using healing. And then I think lightning damage will make also sense because not only does he use chain lightning a lot, or what is it? Maybe was it witch bolt? She used it in the campaign a lightning spell a lot of the times. I think I actually got lightning bolt because I think I remember Ashley keeps saying lightning up the butt. I think that's because it was like a lightning bolt attack. So yeah, I think because she uses that in the campaign a lot, I would give her lightning jutsu. And also, I think when she creates a weapon, that what is it called? What's the spell called when you got holy? Is it holy weapon or when they can create a weapon? It's similar to Bixby's hand, but they can just create a weapon. I forgot what the magical name of that spell is, but her creating that weapon, I think that makes sense, especially because normally her is like a spike. It doing lightning damage and fire damage as it hits makes a lot of sense as well. And using different jutsus, a different damage type to have different to make the enemy have different options to hurt the enemy makes a lot of sense. Scanlan, I think Scanlan will be born with lightning, and then I think he will learn very quickly after. And by combining these two, he'll be able to use sort of sound to hurt enemies and create sound jutsus to hurt enemies. Because scanners are bad, you want him to use music as a way of hurting his enemies. So that's why I gave him lightning and air, because I think those two combined would would help would basically allow him to use music as a form of attack. The next jutsu I don't think he will learn is sort of water, because he could create clones. And him having like a lot of water clones or creating like illusions with water jutsus, I think would be really nice. And it will also allow like when when the enemy goes with the water clone, he can use lightning to damage them. And lightning and water together a really good combination. Um, and then the last one Choco Nature he will learn, just because I know he has Fireball as a spell in the campaign. I was like, give him Fireball, or if he does have Fireball, I think he has a wand that does fire damage. I I think he also has a wand that did magic missiles, which I also think missiles are like fire type damage. So that's why for me, yeah, he will also learn fire. So he's also another Vox Machina character that has full chocolate nature. The last one, I wanted to give Terry some sign, and so I was like, Terry should probably. I think for me, Terry is a fire type. He will be born with a fire chakra jutsu and then learn lightning type. And that's just because he has multiple spells or multiple different attacks. But just because he's not a lead member of Vox Machina, I don't think you can give him too many chakra nature that he can master. I think fire and lightning will also would help him to build Doti, lightning to power Doti, fire to sort of throw his spells and use fire damage, and then eventually learning to throw some lightning spells. I know, like he also will have. I know in the like animated show and in the campaign, he had like water acid spell. So like he could have also like water type, but I think for Terry being the weakest member of Vox Machina, I think he should only be able to learn two Jutsu types and not him being excellent. Like even Krog, who I only gave two, and that's just because I think Krog doesn't really need to learn Chakra Nature type. He's more of a Daijutsu master, Krog is, whereas Terry would use his elemental types a lot more than Krog would. Um, I just think because Terry is new to the team and also like he's not really deep down in Vox Machina. He's more of like an honorary member or like as stand-in. That like it would make sense that he doesn't have as much of a arsenal as the rest of Vox Machina. That being said, uh, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you want, tell me below what Chakra Nature you will give each member of Vox Machina. See you guys next time. Bye.